Well, hello. Let's see. As you can see, I moved the television set. I need to have my eyes tested. I hadn't been tested, had my eyes tested in a while. I'm getting where I couldn't read subtitles and everything, so I moved the. Well, things have probably been moved around since I told you about the new desk that I got. And then the television set was over here, but I moved the television set way over in the corner where that lamp is. Now I've moved the television up closer. Well, let's see here. One of my videos, you saw me loading up my medicine thing. I got a new medicine thing. Probably not a good idea. It just made it more complicated for myself. Before I had a day and a night thing. Now I got four. I got mornings, noon, evenings, bedtime. Probably a mistake. So I've got this. See all the pictures here? I'm going through the pictures, family pictures, quickly. I need a scanner so I could scan all the pictures, and I guess I kind of hate to do it, but I mean, just scan them and throw them away. This is the old computer desk, which was falling apart, and I intended to throw it away, but we don't have any furniture here, so I've stuck it over here in the corner for now. I mentioned in a video, because I made a video and showed some pictures that were in this suitcase. And this suitcase, it's old and beat up. My grandfather made it. He owned a business in Kansas City, Missouri, trunk making and suitcase making, and I don't know, whatever suitcase makers and trunk makers, whatever they did. And anyway, he made this. Years and years after his business no longer existed, and he died when I was 1 year old. But years later, when I was going to high school and everything, we had Veterans Day parade march downtown and everything. And I could look upon a building, and the name of his building or his business was still there, because it was painted or something on the side of a brick building or something. So it was still there after all those years. Howard something in Kansas City, Missouri. I don't know whether it's true or not, but the family story was that it had to be. It would have had to have been the First World War, because he died. So the story is that during World War I, that I'm sure he wasn't the only one. I'm sure all across the United States that the government contacted craftsmen who made suitcases and luggage and that type of stuff. But anyway, the government contacted him, and he showed them how to make foot lockers, what they had to do to make foot lockers for the military. And then after the war, people went into the business of manufacturing luggage and whatever, instead of by hand or the way he did it in his shop, mass produced them, and that was the end of his business. He, and I'm not sure if that was up until he died, I don't know where he learned Spanish, but he was fluent in Spanish, and he did translating for businesses, and I'm not sure just if in Kansas City or other places. He translated the letters they got in Spanish, and then he translated any business letters they had to send into Spanish, and he was very proud, he belonged to some type of Spanish institute or league or something or other. Let's see here. As you can see, I need to take the trash out. Well, let's see. I'm going to take this off the tripod. Try not to hit the on and off button. This is where my grandson, we share this apartment, it's where he puts his stuff, and then he has this stuff up here. That's his. It's a pretty nice microwave, and I put the pots and pans up there, and instant coffee and tea, which I should drink, but I really don't. I should. It would be better for me. Hey, I can see myself in the. Got some stuff over here. Let's see. I think the freezer's pretty well. Got lots of pizzas. Some. I really don't care for the Banquet brand, but it's cheap. We got a lot of frozen Tyson frozen spicy chicken. We got burritos, southern fried chicken tenderloins, southern fried chicken breast tenders. Let's see what we have. Drinks. We ordered pizza, or my grandson ordered pizza last night. So there's a couple of boxes of pizza in there. And bologna and cheese and Coke in the door. Olives. My last bottle of olives. Whoops, there we are. I like olives. I love olives and cheese. Let's see. There's our. Let's see what's up here. Tuna, chili. Got lots of crackers. I haven't made any rice in a long time. I got these at the Mexican grocery store, and I actually made this, and it doesn't taste very well. I've got to find something to drink other than Coke. This television set, my ex-wife and grown son lived next door, and they didn't have room for it. She got a while back, big screen television, so I got to find some place to put this over here for storage for them. It is heavy. Got to find some. Got a couple broken computers here. I want a desktop computer instead of the laptop that I got. I mentioned about Windows that I installed Windows 8. That's my grandson's bathroom. And of course, that's the bathroom if we had company come that they're supposed to use, but that's his room, and this is my room, and I've got my own bathroom in there. I mentioned that I installed Windows 8 Consumer And I mentioned this is their start menu. And it sucks. Now, I'm sure if you just installed Windows 8 and didn't keep your old programs, well, then it would, everything, all your programs that you installed would show up here. But there is no help. There is no, start menu. I've got a whole bunch of, you have to hunt like hell to find I can't even find them. You know what I mean? There is no start menu. They don't want to start menu. And I commented, hey, I can see myself. I commented that on the video I made, I don't know, a month or so ago when I installed Windows 8 Consumer Preview or whatever. I mentioned that there was a workaround, a third-party program that you could install that would bring back the start menu so you would have it. I just saw on the web that Microsoft is making sure that those programs will not work. So I guess each time they make an upgrade to the thing before they release it, and then once they release it, they're going to make sure that, the only choice, the only thing that you have is this. And it sucks. Now, like I said before, if you have a touchscreen device, if you have a Windows phone and you want, something to go along with it, if you're installing this, new, and you're doing a clean install, wiping out your stuff, well, I guess that's fine. But if you're like me and, you're, as far as I'm concerned, that's a deal breaker. They're totally stupid by doing that. They're supposed to be such brilliant people. They are going to piss off people like myself that are used to going to a start menu and having all your programs listed there and being able to, I had a friend, when I worked at Research Belton Hospital, he came out, he worked in respiratory therapy, and he came out there, and he was kind of an odd duck. He was not very friendly. People were kind of afraid of him. He was oh God, we got to call Roger to come down and do a blood gas or something. And I hate to call, and turned out he was into computers and Apple computers, and I was into IBM type computers. And man, once we found out we were talking to each other, and then he became friendly, and I'd say, he'd come down and I'd say, Roger Dodger, and the nurse says, oh no, don't do, oh you'll get mad. And he became one of us, one of the gang because of our joint interest in computers. But in the beginning, we argued. He was a big Apple fan, and I forget which computers that he had, but he was really into computers like I was. And Apple, I forget which Apple he bought, and then Apple, right after that, came in and put out a new Apple computer that totally changed from, it made his obsolete. And he never forgave me. He got IBM type computers after that. And I think Microsoft is making, they're sitting there thinking, okay, people are going to use our start menu. And when the start menu is sort of like Android, and I guess the iPhone. I've never even touched an iPhone. But it's like the Android and the apps, And so there'll be those apps there, and people, you'll click on them and say, oh, I like that program, I like that app, And so I'll buy it, and they're going to make a lot of money. But if there is no start menu, and if you have to use that, they're going to piss off all the old people, or all the not old people, but all the people who are not doing a clean install to their system, they're making a big mistake. I don't know how these people can. I don't know how these major corporations can make the kind of mistake. I don't know how the government can make the kinds of mistakes that it does on different issues. When I worked security I was just a security officer at this major hospital, research medical center, and they set up a non-profit or profit? I forget. A corporation, and they took over 11 hospitals. But while I was working there for them, and keep in mind again, I was just a security officer. They came up with, they had meetings, and they came up with these things, policies or whatever. And I was there, and I said, oh, that won't work. That's a big mistake. And the guys I was working there, there's 25 security officers. Oh, well, that's policy, and man, the hospital had to, everything that I said it won't work because, and I listed off. I said, here's what will be used against it. I listed that off, and and I said, they'll come in and modify the thing and say such and such, and that's exactly, like a few months later they said, oh, well, we're modifying the policy and the following things, and then I said, and that of course won't work, and then of course they had to totally back down, and that happened numerous times. And remember, I was watching one of Bush's speeches or whatever. I think that's what the Axis of Evil, or I was. And I think I actually recorded it, and I think it's on a YouTube video, I think, here. I was actually watching it, and I said, oh man, that is a big mistake. And I said, why? Maybe I blogged about it. And that was a big, massive, and what the White House needs is, and I know they got all kinds of, intelligent, highly educated people. They got these advisors or whatever. You know what they need? They need a little tiny office, and they need somebody like me. And I'm not the only, there's hundreds of thousands, if not millions of us out there. They need some person like me and say, okay, Mr. Howard, this is your office right here. And then when they think of some policy, some great idea they've got, they need to, now they shouldn't, they would not want, it would not be good for them to be buddy-buddy with me. Or, come in and, it should be, that's Mr. Howard's office in there, and he doesn't have anything to do except just sit at that desk, and we run things by him occasionally. And then go in there and say, oh, this is the president's speech that we're going to make, State of the Union, read it and tell us what you think. Now, of course, they've got hundreds, if not thousands of people. I'm sure when he's getting ready to make a speech that they run it by somebody at the Department of Education, somebody at NASA, somebody at, whatever, and everybody get their, but, what they need is some not too smart, common man sitting there and say, Mr. Howard, check this, read this for us. And then listen to what the guy, and they need to do that with everything, and major corporations need to do that. I know they do surveys. These people do surveys. They do focus groups. I've walked through them all before. They Blue Thunder, I think it was, about the helicopter or whatever. I was going through them all one time. Sir, would you come over here and be a and they showed slides or whatever. What do you think of this name? Blue Lightning, Blue Thunder, Blue. What do you think of a movie about a helicopter that can, and they ask you all these different questions. But so anyway, what was I talking about? I was talking about Windows 8 consumer. I'm thinking about, I've got a Canon, this is the Canon G12 camera. You know, Kodak has gone out of the camera business. It's unbelievable. There is, what is it, the D777 or something like that. The price was it's about a $400 or $500 camera, and Amazon has it for like 170, I think, or something. And in many ways it's not nearly as good as my Canon G12, but it has a 30x optical zoom. It does 1070 video, and you can zoom with it, and some other things. I'm thinking about getting it. I think it's a mistake because I haven't even learned how to use this camera, you know, all the functions on this camera. But I'm thinking about getting it. I just wonder if that's the price of the camera because Kodak's going out of the camera business. I mean, I wonder if it's going to get, could I wait a while and get it for $100? I guess with them going out of the camera business, I could probably buy it on eBay for $100 or something. Anyway, I wish my camera, I wish there was maybe there's an option to set it up in a menu. I wish I don't know how long this has run. Now I've got to make sure I do not push the power button, that I push the shutter button to stop this. Thanks for watching.